Hello.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, actually, I had lost my internet connection for a few minutes.
No worries.
So, we were talking about the responsibilities, roles, and responsibilities of the different teams. So, CPM will define the corporate level policy. Executive will responsible for ensuring risk management strategy exists and the risk associated with the business case are identified, assessed and controlled. Senior user is responsible for ensuring that risks related to users are identified, assessed and controlled. Senior supplier is responsible for ensuring that risks relating to supplier aspects are identified, assessed and controlled. The project manager, again, he plays the critical role, creates the risk management strategy, creates and maintains the risk register, ensures that the project risks are identified, assessed, and controlled throughout the life cycle of the project. Team manager participates in the identification, assessment, and control of risks at work package level. Project assurance review risk management practices to ensure that they are performed in alignment with the project's risk management strategy. Project support assists the project maintaining the risks register, project's risk register. Okay. Any questions on risk?
No questions.
Okay. Now we move to the change theme. The purpose of the change theme is to identify, assess, and control any potential changes to the products that have already been approved and baselined. So, the change theme is not just about handling change requests, but also handling issues that arise during the project. It is better to say that the change theme provides a common approach to issue and change control. The Prince2 manual uses the change theme to describe how change control should be executed. All changes are dealt with as a type of project issue. So there can be three types of issues: changes, general issues, request for change, and ops specifications. So let us understand what they are. General issues, this could be anything. It could be a question, a query, a suggestion, an observation, a concern, a problem, whatever it is, you can raise it as a general issue. And I mostly in projects, what we do, we note down the issues and ensure there is a corresponding response against those. Request for change. This is a change request from the customer or user side and would, if implemented, cause a change to what had been originally agreed. Yesterday, we had briefly spoken about the change control board, the
Change.
change advisory board, change control
Yeah.
board. So they are called by different names again. So if customer or the user is requesting a change, then this request will go to the customer, to the change board, saying that look, such and such user has asked for this change. So what we do, we advise our team members working in projects that don't say no to the end customer. You note down his change and say that okay, we'll have to get this approved by the change control board. Now, in that case, moment they realize there is somebody else whom it will go to for approval, particular within their organization, who might be the higher authorities, they might withdraw their change request or they might calm down. In the sense, they will say, okay, see if it can be done. Otherwise, they will tell you, oh, this must be done. So there would be they would serve, the change control board often acts as a gatekeeper. So it might be a request to add or subtract to the original agreement. If you were having a house built, one could be requesting an extra bathroom or asking for a dividing wall to be removed. As such, any extra cost relating to the change should be paid for by the customer or the users. Another common change that we see in construction of houses is if the floor is supposed to be of mosaic, they will say, okay, you might want marble, so you have to pay for the difference. Or if they are putting in vitrified tiles and you want a better quality of vitrified tiles, they'll say, okay, this is our cost, you pay for the difference amount. So that's a change request. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Next, we come to off specification. Off specification means that this will result in not being able to meet the originally agreed scope. So what you're doing,
Okay.
you're taking it off from the plate. You're saying, look, I was supposed to deliver you, um, let's say, the marble flooring, but the cost has gone up so much that I'm not going to give you the marble flooring. I'm going to give you the normal mosaic flooring. And because I am taking this off, I'm going to give you something extra somewhere, to ensure that the customer feels that he's not cheated. Okay. So if you look at the example that they have talked about here, so they are talking about the patio area was within the cost. Now, because of timelines or because of issues, you decide that, okay, uh, the customer is not able to provide the patio. And you agree, okay, we'll accept the house without the patio. And this is off specification. You're taking the patio off from the specification. And in return, the builder might give you a concession. Clear? So these are the possible options when you get a request for change. One is approve the change. Another one is reject the change. Third could be defer the decision. Fourth could be request for more information. And fifth could be ask for an exception plan. So suppose somebody is asking for a change and you tell him, what if we don't do the change? How will you do it? They might say, oh, we'll have to do it manually. Then they will say, okay, continue doing it manually for the next 1 year till we get this in the next phase. So in this phase, we are not going to incorporate this. This will come in the next phase. Okay. Then possible options of specification management: grant a concession and instruct that off specification must be resolved. In that case, you can defer the decision, request for more exception, or ask for an exception plan. So they will be ready to give you the patio maybe after 6 months. So they say, okay, you now move into the house without the patio. Later on, we'll do the patio for you, but it will not happen right now. We'll do it after 6 months. And you agree. So in that case, the project is successfully closed. Okay. So should there be any problems or concern management, you can provide guidance or you can ask for an exception plan. Exception plan basically means alternate. Okay, if I don't do this, what will happen? So you could have a change authority and there could be a change budget. Change authority is a person or a group who considers requests for change and of specification. It is the responsibility of the project board, so they can do it themselves, which is more common where few changes are expected, or they can assign this to other persons. If a lot of changes are expected, then this will take up too much time from the project board, and it is better to give the authority to another person or group of persons. The change authority will have a change budget, which is a sum of money that the customer and supplier agree to use to fund the cost of the request for change. It is advisable to always have a change budget for each project unless you are sure there will be very few changes or no change request. The project board can still exert control, as they can put a limit on the cost of a single change or the amount to be spent in any one stage. Often, if the change budget is exhausted, they will stop accepting change request. They'll say, okay, our budget, change budget for this year is gone. Next year, once we get a fresh change budget, we'll see if we can add more money to it. Okay. Now, when you are talking about deliverables, particularly the management deliverables, you have these are the products, often called as products, are those that define aspects of the project and once approved are subject to change control. These are benefit review plan, business case, communication management plan strategy, configuration management strategy, plan, product description, project brief, project initiation documentation, project product description, quality management strategy, risk management strategy, work package. So baseline product means basically these are subject to approvals. So originally certain documents have been, products have been agreed upon, and if you want to make any changes to them, then you need to go for a round of approval. Okay. Records are dynamic management products that maintain information regarding project progress. These are configuration item record, daily log, issue register, lesson log, quality register, risk register. You're clear on all of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Reports are management products providing a snapshot of the status of certain of the project. These are checkpoint report, end project report, end stage report, exception report, highlight report, issue report, lesson report, product status account.
Okay.
When any kind of config management, change control, you will have to go through a round of approvals. Okay, when it relates to the changes. So changes, general issues of specification, RFCs, request for change.
So RFC is request for
For
change.
change,
Okay.
yes. So what are the roles and responsibilities as far as the change theme is concerned? CPM will provide the corporate level strategy for change control, issue resolution, and configuration management. Executive determines the change authority and the change budget, sets the severity ratings and priority for issues, respond to requests for advice from the project manager, and make decision on escalated issues with the focus primarily on continual business justification. Senior user takes decision on escalated issues with the primary focus on safeguarding the expected benefits. Senior supplier takes decision on escalated issue with primary focus on safeguarding the integrity of the complete solution. Roles and responsibility. Project manager manages the configuration management procedure, manages the issue and change control procedure, creates and maintains the issue register. Team manager implements corrective actions for work package level issues. Project assurance advises on examining and resolving issues. Project support maintains the configuration item records, produces product status account, and assists the project manager to maintain the issue register. Okay. Any questions so far? Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Barely.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, now you're better.
Yeah, I said no questions.
Okay, okay. So next I go to the progress theme. So to establish how to monitor and then to compare actual achievements against those planned during the project life cycle. To provide a forecast for the project objectives and the project's continued viability. To be able to control any unacceptable deviations, and progress is about checking progress compared to the plan, checking project viability and controlling any deviations. Basically the progress tracking, progress update, any changes, how much of completion of each of the tasks and things like that. So 3 of the 7 principles are represented in the progress theme. So that is where the work is being done. So you have
Okay.
managed by stages. The project board is to use stages as a control point. Continued business justification, as the business case is continually checked that the project is still worth doing. Managed by exception, where tolerances are used, refer certain issues up to the next management plan level. Okay. So progress is basically at is pertaining to 3 principles: managed by stages, continued business justification, and managed by exception.
Okay. Okay.
So let us look at when tolerances can be decided on, because based on your progress, you will get an idea whether your tolerances are going to be breached or not. So you will get the time and cost tolerances. These are decided in the project plan, stage plans, and work packages. Scope tolerances decided in project plan, stage plan, and work packages. Scope changes would require change control. Risk tolerances will be first defined in the risk management strategy document, and the project board can change risk tolerance for the stage plan. The project manager may change risk tolerances for the work package. Quality tolerances are defined in the project product descriptions and the product descriptions, as quality is related to the products. Benefit tolerances are defined only in the business case, and this is kept up to date during the project. The benefits are also defined in the business case.
Okay.
The Prince2 approach to progress and the 4 main controls provided by Prince2 are delegating authority. We understand delegating authority. We understand using stages, the project being broken into multiple stages. Then we generate time and event driven reports. And then we raise exception cases. So these are relating to the progress. All controls can be divided into 2 parts in the Prince2: event driven, time driven. Event driven means it takes place when something happens, some event occurs. In other words, when an event happens in the project. For example, at the end of a stage, at completion of the PID, when a stage goes out of tolerance, at the end of the project, or when a change request is received. All these events produce documents like end stage report, exception report, issue report. Time-driven controls take place at predefined periodic intervals. For example, the project board will agree with the project manager to send a highlight report every 2 weeks to the project board. And the project manager can agree with the team manager to send a checkpoint report each week. So time-driven controls don't have to wait for an event to happen. Clear about the event-driven and time-driven?
Yes.
So this is delegating the tolerance and reporting process. So corporate or program level, they will delegate the project tolerances to the project board. Project board will give the stage tolerances to the project manager. Project manager will give the work package tolerances to the team manager. And the reverse, they will receive the package progress, updates, issues to from the team manager. It will go to the project manager. Project manager will look at the stage progress, exceptions, report to the project board. Project board will look at the project progress, exceptions, and report to the CPM.
Okay.
So why are management stages used as controls by the project board? Management stages are partitions of the project with decision points for the project board between each stage. A management stage is a collection of activities to produce products and is managed by the project manager. Why are management stages important for the project board? They provide review and decision points at each at end of each stage and before the next stage. They can authorize one stage at a time or choose to stop the project. They review the end stage report of the last stage and review plan for next stage. Then they can check project progress compared with baseline project plan at the end of each stage. So the minimum number of stages in a Prince2 project is 2. The initiation stage to define and agree what needs to be done, and at least one other stage to produce the products. So how to decide the number of stages? Now this is always a debate. This depends on the number of items. As you can see, it's a bit of a balancing act. Start by considering the following. How far ahead is it sensible to plan? Where do key decision points have to be made in the project? For example, after creating a prototype or after completing a major part of the product, this would be a good point for stage end. The amount of risk and the complexity in a project, if similar to another project, then there'll be less. Higher the risk and complexity, more will be the number of management stages. The number of management stages in a project is a bit of balancing act, as the more number of management stages provide better control on the project, however increases the administrative overhead. So it's a balance act, right? So either you create large number of management stages and have more administrative overhead, or you have less number of management stages and have lower amount of administrative overhead. So it depends. So depends on the situation, scope of the project, how many items you're delivering in the project, and so on. So what
Okay.
are the progress related roles and responsibilities? CPM will provide the project tolerances and the document them in project mandate and make decisions related to exceptions when project level tolerance is forecast to exceed. Executive provides stage level tolerances and makes decision when stage level tolerances are forecast to be exceeded. ensures that progress towards the outcome remain consistent from business perspective, recommend future action on the project to corporate or program management if the project tolerance is forecast to be exceeded. Senior user ensures that progress towards the outcome remain consistent from user perspective. Senior supplier ensures that progress toward the outcome is consistent from the supplier perspective. So one is from the user perspective, one is from the supplier perspective. Project manager will authorize the work package level tolerances and monitor progress against the stage plan, produces highlight reports, end stage report, lesson report, and end project report. Produce exception reports when the stage level tolerances are forecast to be exceeded. Team manager agrees on work package with the project manager, produce checkpoint reports, and notify the project manager of any forecast deviation from work package tolerance. Project assurance
Mhm.
review and verify the business case against the external events, will verify impact on the project business case on the basis of the progress or due to changes in the plan. And project support will assist in the compilation, distribution of reports, then assist the project manager in maintaining the issue and risk registers. Okay. So that brings us to the end of the themes. So any questions on the themes?
No questions.
Okay. Next, we go to the starting up a project. The purpose of starting up a project process is to answer the question. What is the question? Is it a worthwhile and viable project? That is the first question because that will lead to the business justification. The project mandate is usually the only document that exists when this process starts. And there is not enough information for the project board to make the decision to start the initiation stage. Like yesterday, you were describing about your initiative for the talks, right? Maybe the
Yeah.
C level, they told your HR head that why don't we have talks like this? So that's a one liner. So there's barely any information in that.
Yes.
Then the purpose of this process is to provide the project board with the necessary information to judge if the project is worthwhile. They use the project brief, which will contain information on the business case. Another important purpose of the starting up a project process is to prevent poor projects from starting up. This process should be brief. Perhaps that's where we get the name project brief. In fact, the aim is to do the minimum necessary just to see if the project is worthwhile doing the initiation stage. So in the starting up the project stage, what we are doing, we are just evaluating whether that we are digging deep and seeing what is inside it based on the brief one liner given by the project board or the CPM, whoever has given it. And based on that, they will start evaluating. Does it make sense? They will do a kind of a business case justification, pros and cons of doing it. What is the cost involved? What is the scope involved? And so on. The objective of the starting up a project process The objective of the starting up a project process are to prepare and make sure that the following is done during and by the end of this process. That is, there is a business case or a business reason, and this should be documented in the outline business case. The business case document will not be completed until the initiation stage. Look at the project approach, which examines the best way to go about doing this project and obtain advice from other projects in the form of lessons learned, specialists, or even outside knowledge. Create the project brief, which provides information on the scope of the project and most of the information collected to date in this process. Create a detailed stage plan to plan the work to be done in the initiation stage. So as you can see, the starting up a project process objectives are to provide the project board with certain information and to prepare the initiation stage. The starting up a project process ensures that sufficient planning is in place before initiating a project. The process is triggered after the mandate is received from the corporate program management. The primary output of the process is the project brief. The key activities in this process are capture previous lessons, appoint the executive and the project manager, design and appoint the project management team, prepare the outline business case, create project product description, select the project approach and assemble the project brief, plan the initiation stage, trigger the directing the project process with request to initiate the project. So this is a diagrammatic information view of the starting up the project. So you have the CPM will appoint the executive and the project manager. They will prepare the business case outline. This is after the project from the based on the project mandate. And directing the project will also authorize initiation. If the business plan looks good, if it is satisfactory, yes, the project will meet the requirements, then you plan the initiation stage and request to initiate a project will be launched. So a PID will be created. The executive is responsible for appointing the project manager, project management team, and creating the outline business case. Project manager is responsible for roles descriptions, capturing previous lessons, project approach, assembling the project brief, creating and updating the daily log, and creating the initiation stage plan. The purpose of next we come to the initiating a project. The purpose of this process is to establish solid foundations for the project, enabling the organization to understand the work that needs to be done to deliver the project's product before there is a commitment to significant spending. The understanding is needed before deciding to continue with the project. Like any project, there are a number of important items to discover, and so there are a number of questions to ask about the project. What are the reasons for doing the project and the benefits and risks? Scope, what is to be done and what will not be included? When can the products be delivered? How to ensure that quality will be achieved? How risks, issues, and changes will be identified and followed up? How project progress will be monitored? Who needs to be informed and how often do they need to be informed? And lastly, how Prince2 will be tailored to suit the project. Okay. Next, the key objective of this process is to ensure that there is a common understanding of the reason for doing the project, benefits expected, and the associated risks. The scope of what is to be done and the products to be delivered, how and when the project's products will be delivered and at what cost, who is to be involved in the project decision making, how the quality required will be achieved, how baselines will be established and controlled, how risks, issues, and changes will be identified, assessed, and controlled, how progress will be monitored and controlled, who needs information, in what format, and at what time. And following are the activities performed in initiating a project process: prepare a risk management strategy, prepare configuration management strategy, prepare quality management strategy, communication management strategy, set up the project controls, create the project plan, refine the business case, and assemble the project initiation document. Okay. So this is a diagrammatic initiation, um, directing a project at that level. So this is the project board. They will authorize to initiate a project and what is required to deliver a project. So initiating a project involves creating the different strategy documents and the management strategy documents, setting up the project controls, creating the project plan, refining the business case, assembling the project initiation documentation. So once this is done, then we authorize the project to start. Okay. We next, these are the preparation of the different documents. So these, I think, these are like inputs to the risk management strategy will be the project brief, lessons log, daily log. Activity is the risk management strategy. Output is the, it goes into the project initiation document. So this is like a project charter where you have all the details of relating to your project, and you create the risk management strategy, create the risk register. Then we prepare the quality management strategy, authorized authority to initiate a project, prepare the quality management strategy document, and that would be a part of the PID, project initiation documentation. Similarly, for the communication management plan strategy, we also have, we pick up the inputs from the project brief, lessons log, risk register, issue register. Then it's a part of the project initiation document. And then you come up with the comprehensive communication management strategy that goes into the final project initiation documentation. Project controls, what kind of project controls you are going to have, and what authority and how much approval authorities do each of these respective teams have, like the CPM, the project board, or the project manager, or the team managers. So accordingly the approvals will flow to the respective entities. The project manager will assemble the project initiation document. This is one very important document. Okay, remember this, project initiation document, PID, and includes the following information and documents: project brief, project management team structure, roles descriptions, business case, four management strategy documents including quality, configuration management, risk, and communication. It will have the project plan, and it will provide the project approach, project controls, and how Prince2 was tailored to suit the project. Project assurance will check that it contains the necessary information and can be put forward to the project board. The last task done by the project manager is to request to deliver a project. This request is made to the project board, and they will decide if the project can continue or stop. This request can be formal or informal and depends on the culture of the company and size of the project. Next, we come to the controlling the stage. The purpose of controlling a stage process is to assign work to be done to the by the specialist teams, monitor such work, manage project risks and issues, report progress of the stage to the project board, and if required, take corrective actions to ensure that the stage remains within tolerance in terms of the six aspects: scope, time, cost, risk, scope, quality, and benefits.
Okay.
The objective of the controlling a stage process is to ensure that attention is focused on the delivery of the products, keep risks and issues under control, keep the business case under review, deliver the products for the stage to be agreed, quality to the agreed quality within agreed cost and time and achieve the defined benefits. The key activities performed in this process are authorize a work package as a result of approval of a stage or an exception planned by the board. Obtain the product descriptions of the entire product to be included in the work package and define the techniques, processes, and procedures to be used. Review a work package status through checkpoint reports and receive completed work packages. Review the team plan with team manager to forecast whether the work will be completed on time and budget. Review the project initiation document for the project controls such as reporting method required, the quality management strategy, and the review the stage status. Report highlights and take corrective actions if required. Watching for, assessing, and dealing with issues and risks. This includes maintaining issue and risk registers. Escalate issues and risks.
Okay.
Quality standards required. Configuration management strategy for how the products are to be handed over. Reviewing the product quality and triggering the new work package or update the existing ones. Review entries in the quality register related to products in the work package to understand the current status of quality management activities and ensure that each product in the work package has gained its requisite approval. Confirm that the configuration item record for each approved product is updated. Update the stage plan to show the work package as completed. Review the stage plan for products to be produced, cost, effort, and tolerances available.
Okay.
So this is how a controlling a stage overview looks like. So you have directing a project which will authorize a stage or the exception plan. So they will authorize the next stage and the work package will start. So once people produce the work product, the work package, it's completed, it's reported as completed. And if all the items within the stage are completed, then they look at closing the stage and moving on. If during the testing, if new issues are identified, okay, okay, okay. So you
Can you hear me?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
hello,
Yeah, I can hear you now.
yeah,
I thought I.
no. So is this fine? So
Yeah.
basically the directing a project is as they are assigning the tasks within the stage to the team. The team completes it, and in between you could review the work package status. Once it's completed, you send it back. They might test it, and then you review, examining the issues that come out of testing. And once those are fixed, you report that it's completed. You may be highlighting the progress through reports, progress reports, and completing the different items within the stage. Okay. So
Yeah.
these are the different steps for authorizing the work package: stage plan, PID, team plan, corrective action, new work package, stage authorization, exception plan approved. All these go into authorize a work package. Okay, and then you update a stage plan. So once this activity is completed, you authorize the work package, and then you update the stage plan.
Okay.
And you create the work packages. You update the configuration item record saying these are the items that are completed. You update the quality register, update the risk register, you update the issue register, and you report that it's completed. Reviewing the work package in case there are issues, or in terms during testing some issues are repeated, then you need to review the work package status, and then you report any changes to the updates, any changes to the risk register or issue register, work packages, you go back and update the same. Once you receive the completed work package, so you update your from the stage plan, you update it, update the quality register, update your configuration item saying that such and such item has been completed, and you receive completed work packages, which you go and update. You update the configuration item records, and you update the stage plans. Now here, when you are doing all these activities, what you you may be having, you might have a project management information system in your organization. Do you have anything like that in your organization right now?
Project management information system,
Information system.
not that I'm, no, not that I'm aware of. No.
So what that does is basically all these processes that we are talking about, it's a single repository. It could be an intranet, it could be a SharePoint site within which whenever a project is launched, you keep the PID, you keep all your communication strategy documents, your quality document, quality register, risk register, issue register.
Mhm.
You keep that in a single consolidated place.
Okay. Okay.
And as and when you find any issues or any items are completed, you tag them as completed, or work package is completed, you say it's completed, or you do a testing, then you say it's completed, testing is done, and so on and so forth.
So you're asking about any application or tool where
Yes,
we store all
yes,
the data.
yes, that's right.
Yeah, we
It's called
use
a PMS.
okay, so
Yeah,
we use Jira as a
Jira.
project
Yes,
management tool.
Jira is another similar, where you have like all the you can report issues, you can track issues, you can track progress,
Yes.
people can keep commenting on them, you can maintain a history. So all those
Yeah.
things, it's like a project management tool.
Yes. Yes. We use basically Jira and Confluence for project tracking and
Okay. Yes.
storing the documents and
Yes.
updating them.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. So what we are talking here, like configuration item records and all these would already be created right in the beginning. So what happens
Yeah.
is it's like a life cycle. So initially the requirements are put in there. Based on that, the development happens. Once the development happens, it is updated saying this is the updated script or updated package. And then once that is updated, you do the testing. So there is a test script also which gets uploaded, the test scenario, and all those things are recorded in the same Jira ticket. And once it is done, then you say it's completed, ready for deployment, and there would be a status which you can say that plan, initiate, implement, and then you can say it's gone to production. And finally the user, once he confirms that it is working fine in production, then system will go ahead and close that particular item saying that it's completed.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
The ones that have a broken line, those are basically your optional items. They may happen, they may not happen. If there are any issues, then you will get corrective action. If there are tolerance threats, then only you will do something about it.
Okay.
So otherwise, those are not to be, you know, those are not done basically. So
Okay.
inputs, when you are reviewing the state status, you check the inputs from the stage plan, quality register, product status account, checkpoint reports, issue register, risk register, project initiation documentation, and so on.
Okay.
Then you report the highlights. So project manager uses highlight reports to update the project board about the state status. Frequency of these reports is defined in the communication management strategy. Usually on short duration projects, it could be weekly. Long duration, it could be fortnightly or monthly. They keep the progress reporting, and longer duration you could have monthly or quarterly also update. Basically only when things happen in the project, or there is progress in the project, do you have to go and update.
Okay. All right.
Then you capture and examine the risk and issues. Okay, so this is again something that we have talked about. So inputs could be the new risk or a new issue that has come up, and you evaluate the impact of it from the stage plan. You might have to go back and revisit your project initiation documentation to see what was your original plan and what was the plan for mitigation and so on. Then outputs are update the daily log, create the issue report, update the issue register, update the risk register, then you project and the project board advice.
Okay.
Escalate issues and risks. So you have the tolerance threat, and in case there you see possibility of the tolerances getting exceeded, or there could be some issues around that, then you will escalate those, and you might have to create some exception report, or alternate plans or alternate reports, based on which you
Yeah.
will do the update issue register, update the risk register, exception raised, and you update the issue report.
Okay. Mhm.
Take corrective actions. This also is similar. In case you need to do any corrective actions, so based on the inputs, issue register or risk register, because these are the source of your corrective action. Somebody might say this is not working, so that could come as a issue, okay, or a request for change. So then you have to do a corrective action, and then you go and say, okay, this task has been done, update daily log, update the issue register, update the risk register, update the issue report, then you update the stage plan, then you update the configuration item records, and you do the corrective action.
Yeah. Okay.
Next, we come to the managing product delivery process. So the purpose of the managing product delivery process is to manage and control the work between the project manager and the team manager by placing certain formal agreements on the accepting, executing, and delivering of products. The objective of the managing product delivery process is to ensure that products assigned to the team are authorized and agreed. The team is clear about what has to be produced and understands the effort, time, and cost. The planned products are delivered to the expectations and within tolerance. Accurate progress information is provided to the project manager by the team manager. The key activities in this process are: work on products allocated to the team is authorized and agreed. Team managers, team members, and suppliers are clear as to what is to be produced and what is the expected effort, cost, or time scales. The planned products are delivered to expectations and within tolerance. Accurate progress information in the form of checkpoint reports is provided to the project manager at an agreed frequency to ensure that expectations are managed. Products that are created or updated during this process are: team plans with actual dates, risk register with any identified work package level risks, quality register with all quality work that is being undertaken, configuration item records with the latest status of products produced, project issues with status information and impact analysis for current or new issues identified, checkpoint reports providing regular progress information to the project manager. So this is the diagrammatic representation controlling a stage, review the stage status, authorize a work product, review the work product status, receive completed work package. And you manage the product delivery, you accept a work package, you execute the work package, and you deliver a work package. Okay. So this is the process of accepting a work package. The inputs come from authority to deliver a work package. So once the work package is delivered, it is put through a register to put through a testing cycle. Then you create the team plan. Who is going to test what? You update the quality register. You approve the work package, and if any risks are identified, then you raise a new risk. Execute a work package. You might want to execute a work package by providing the input and the output. So input is work package, team plan, project initiation documentation. And outputs are create specialist products, update the quality register, update the configuration item records, update team plan, create checkpoint reports, obtain approval records, raise a new risk, raise a new issue.
Okay.
Deliver a work package. So once you're delivering the work package, then these have to be tested and you formally hand over the work package to the customer. So managing the stage boundary, the purpose of managing a stage boundary process has two parts. One part is the project manager has to provide the project board with certain information. The outputs of the stage boundary process are all for the project board. This information will enable the project board to review the current stage, approve the next stage, review the updated project plan, and confirm continued business justification. The objective of the managing a stage boundary process gives an overview of the main work that the project manager must do, which is assure the project board that all products in the current stage are produced and approved, review and update, if necessary, the usual documents, which are the project initiation documentation, business case,
Mhm.
project plan, and risk register. Record any lessons in the lessons log that can help in later stages or in future projects. Prepare the next stage plan for the next stage and request authorization to start the next stage. This is the stage boundary. That means one stage is getting over, you're starting another stage. But before that, you have to ensure that the deliverables of your current stage are completed and accepted.
Okay.
Following are the activities performed by the project manager in managing a stage boundary process. Ensure and communicate to the project board that all products in the stage plan for the current stage have been completed and approved. Review and, if necessary, update the project initiation documentation, in particular, the business case, project plan, project approach, strategies, project management team structure, and role description.
Mhm.
Provide the information needed for the project board to assess the continuing viability of the project and the aggregated risk exposure, such as an end stage report produced by the project manager and given to the project board, outlining outlining, uh, where was I? Showing the performance, outlining information on the current stage achievements. Current stage plan actuals showing the performance against the original stage plan. An updated risk register together with the updated business case and project plan, which is used by the project board to review that the project has continuing ongoing viability. An updated configurable item record and project status account. Any changes to the project management team with updated job descriptions.
Okay.
So managing a stage boundary, uh, authorize a stage or an exception plan that is coming from the project board, and then they will, in case the stage plan cannot be met, you need to have an alternative plan in place, create the exception plan and send it for approval. So once the approval for the exception plan is received, then you would go back, complete the rest of the pieces, and then you know go back and get the approval for the exception plan, complete the stage, and then plan for the next stage and get the approval for starting the next stage. So these are the activities for planning the next stage, which is inputs are the stage boundary is approaching. So you look at the PID, issue register, risk register, lessons log to see if all the deliverables for that plan has been, for that stage has been completed. Then you go back, update the project initiation document, create the stage plan, update configuration item records, update the risk register, update the issue register, update the quality register. Then you manage the stage boundary. So you do the stage plan, the current stage plan, update the next stage plan, look at the PID. If an exception plan is in place, then we do the exception plan and we update the project plan as well. Then we go back and update the project initiation document, update the issue register, update the risk register. And then you update the business case in case, based on the progress of the stage, when you review the business case whether it is still viable or not, and if it is viable, then or if it is not viable, what should you do? If it is viable, then you say that it is viable and you can get a approval for the next stage of the project. And then if the stage you're coming to a close, then you report the stage end. So you go back and update the, based on the project initiation document, look at the business case, look at the communication management strategy, benefit review plan, issue register, risk register, quality register, then look at the stage plan, product status account, lessons log, okay, and then you do the report stage end. So that means you are saying that the stage is completed and all the deliverables of the stage are completed. You create the lessons report, create follow on action recommendations, request to approve next stage plan, request to approve the exception plan. And you might need to create an exception plan or an alternative plan to ensure all the deliverables are completed, and based on that you might have to go back and update the issue register, update the PID, create the exception plan, update the configuration item records, update the quality register, update the risk register, saying that these are the the exceptions. So this is the alternate that has been planned. So that was managing the stage boundary. Now we come to directing a project. The purpose of the directing a project process is to enable the project board to be accountable for the project by making key decisions and to have overall control. The objective of directing a project process are to provide authority to initiate the project, provide authority to deliver the project's products. The products are the reason to do the project. Remember the deliverables of the project. Provide direction and control during the project. Be the interface to corporate or program management. Provide authority to close the project. Ensure that post-project benefits will be reviewed. The key activities in this process are: there is appropriate authority to initiate the project. There is authority to deliver the project products. The project remains viable and management direction and control are in place throughout the project's life. The project board executive interfaces regularly with corporate or program management. There is authority to close the project. A benefit review plan for realizing the post-project benefits is created, managed, and reviewed. The directing a project process starts with when the starting up a project process completes and is triggered by the request from the project manager to initiate a project. The project board uses the technique management by exception. It monitors via reports and provides control via a number of the decision points. Okay, on the key activities of
Yeah,
this process.
yeah, yeah.
So for management by exception to work, the project board must set tolerances. So if at any point this is forecasted to be exceeded, the project manager will inform the project board via an exception report to bring the situation to the project board's attention. With management by exception, there is no need for progress meetings. As already mentioned, there must be an information conduit between the project board and CPM. How this is to occur should be documented in the communication management strategy. Although it is the executive of the project board who has the veto on any decisions and direction given, the project board should provide a unified direction and guidance to the project manager and other key stakeholders. The project board is responsible for assuring that there is continued business justification, and this is why the project board executive owns the project business case. So this is about directing the project. If you look at this one, this is the project board. Okay, this is all along, it is the project board who does give directions for the project. So their primary activities include authorize initiation of the project, authorize stage or exception plans, give ad hoc directions, and authorize project closure. Okay, so most of the approvals, most of the guidance, most of the directions come from the project board. So here we are doing the authorized initiation. So that means request to initiate a project, project brief, stage plan, approve project brief, approve stage plan, authority to initiate a project, and initiation notification. Activities include authorize the project, request to deliver a project, lessons log, project initiation documentation, benefit review plan. Outputs include approve project initiation document, approve benefits review plan, project authorization notification, premature close. Activities include authorize a stage or exception plan. So you request to approve exception plan, request to approve the next stage plan. Okay, so these are the inputs. So once this is authorized, the project board will authorize, and the output is the approval that comes for initiating the project or for the stages or for the exception plans. It has to be approved by the project board. Giving ad hoc direction as and when needed, the project manager or the executive may go to the project board and ask for direction, ask for guidance, ask for additional authority or exception plans or exceptions being raised. So those approvals are provided by the project board. Guidance, advice, request approvals, premature closure approvals are also given by the project board. Next, we come to closing the project. The purpose of closing a project process is to provide a fixed point check that the project has achieved its objectives and that the products have been accepted. The objective of the closing a project process is to verify user acceptance of the project's products, ensure that products can be supported after the project is disbanded, review the performance of the project. This is done by comparing the project to the baseline documents, assess the benefits already realized, and plan review of benefits that will be realized after the project is complete. Address open issues and risks with follow-up action recommendations. Activities performed in this process are preparing planned closure, that is confirming completion of products, their acceptance, handing over documents, handing over deliverables, preparing premature closure. This is done instead of the prepare planned closure activity if requested by the project board.
Okay.
Hand over products to customer as described in the configuration management strategy document. Evaluating the project, that is comparing the project objectives with the actuals and writing the end project report. Recommending project closure, that is sending a notification to the project board to close the project. So this is what closing a project does. Okay, so even if there is a premature closure due to different reasons, whether the business justification is no longer there or the certain events have occurred because of which the project needs to be closed, you need to go to directing the project for authority. Okay, they will make the request, but the authority to close the project is with the project board. They can, the project manager or the management team can only make a recommendation. So in closing the project, they will prepare for the planned closure, hand over the products, evaluate the project, recommend project closure. Along with that, they will document lessons learned or how what things went right, what things didn't go right, and things like that. And sometimes they also do a implementation review to ensure all the deliverables of your project, all the objectives of your project have been delivered and completed.
Okay.
Now, preparing the plan closure, these are the activities. Project plan, update the project plan to show what products have been delivered. Product status account, request from project support a document called project product status account. This is a short report on the status of all products, such as product identifier, status, accepted, and so on. Meet
Okay.
acceptance criteria. Confirm that the project has delivered what is defined in the project product description and that the acceptance criteria defined in the project description has been met. The project board will also check that all products have been accepted and signed for and the acceptance criteria have been met. And lastly, seek approval that project resources can be released, that is equipment used for project contractors and rooms, so that these do not continue to be charged to the project. This is very important. Lot of times staff are taken on hire, third party temporary staff are taken, premises are rent, furniture is rented, so those will have to be closed out. Okay, once these steps are done, project manager is ready to hand over the products and complete the end project report and then recommend the project closure.
Okay.
So sometimes the project board will instruct the project manager to close the project. This is for premature closure. The project manager will not just abandon the project, but should try to salvage anything of value so that it can be used again. Project 2 recommends the following actions. Prince 2 recommends the following actions. Record premature close. Record the premature close request in the issues register. Project plan. Update the project plan with actuals from the current stage. The project plan will show what was completed when the project was closed. Product status account. Request from product support project support a product status account so that you can identify products delivered, currently under development, to start, etc. Products that need to be made safe and may be useful to other projects. Products.
Okay.
Agree what to do with the completed products and products that are currently under development. This might require extra work as there may be a request to complete one of the products first before shutting down. Lastly, seek approval from the project board that project resources can be released so that the project can stop being charged for these resources. Once this is done, the project manager will follow the next activities, which are to hand over the products, complete the end project report, and recommend project closure. um, an example would be like, I was telling you about the Tata Docomo, where they had
Yeah.
closed down their business. Now they had these the cables crisscrossing the city, now all the
Yes.
cities and all all the telecom cables. So they had to
Yeah.
go because those have charges or current running through them, so they had to deactivate those endpoints. So that was part of their project closure activities that they undertook. They took the services of vendors who had to go to these points, the telecom cable points where the joints appear, and deactivate those points. So there's a proper process for deactivating before they could finally close their business.
So it was not a premature closure, right? I mean, it was a planned one, right? The
In the
Docomo
sense, see, the
itself.
plan would have been they would have gone on forever, right?
Yeah.
So premature in the sense they decided to close down their business.
Okay.
So it was a business as usual. It was not a project as such. But even when they closed down their business, they had to ensure that the telecom cables were not a risk to the
Mhm.
public at large.
Okay, I just wanted to know how many more slides do we have for project closing?
After this, we have another 50 or so. There are some questions actually. You want to take a break
Okay.
now?
Yeah, I was just thinking we're gonna
Sure,
go
we
to.
can take a break. Let's take a 10 minutes break if you are fine with that.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So closing a project, Prince2 recommends the following in handover products activities. One is follow on action recommendations. Prepare the follow up on action recommendations for the products. These are mostly taken from the issues and risk registers. Check that the benefits review plan includes post project activities to confirm benefits that cannot be measured until after the products have been in operation for some time. Configuration management. The configuration management strategy document will describe how the product should be handed over. Some common steps here are confirm that correct operation and maintenance environment is in place. Consider the early life support requirements of products, as this is when often where the most support is needed. Check if a support contract is required and get it drawn up if necessary. Confirm acceptance from the operations for the products and obtain acceptance records, as these are required by the project board. Lastly, transfer responsibility to operations for the products and register this in the configuration item records to show who the current owner of the products is.
Okay.
So handover of the product. So we ensure that the proper handover is there and you get the sign off and it's been tested and all issues resolved for these. So once before the final closure, one needs to evaluate the project. So the objective of this activity is to assess how successful or unsuccessful the project was and to learn from this project. So you do an end project report. The project manager will compare the current documents in the closing of project process, such as the project plan and the business case with the baseline documents. The project manager will do the following to create the end project report. Prepare a summary of how the project performed, review the project benefits delivered so far compared to the expected benefits, review how the project performed against its planned targets and tolerances, review team performance, review of the project products. Lessons learned report. The project manager will work with the project management team to prepare a lessons learned report. This will be used to benefit future projects. The lessons learned report should include the following information: a review on how the project went, what went well and what could be improved, how effective the quality management strategy was in designing, developing, and delivery for purpose products, and any useful information gained regarding the tailoring of Prince 2. So,
Okay.
end project report and the lessons learned report. So you evaluate the project and submit the end project report. Recommend the project closure. So remember, it is the project manager that prepares the project for closure, but it is the project board who closes the project. Or in Prince 2 words, authorizes project closure. Okay. So with that, we cover all the topics that were part of the Prince 2. So
Mhm.
as you are probably acquainted with most of these activities that you do on projects and stuff like that, it's mainly the Prince 2 specific terms and terminologies that you need to be familiar with, right?
Yes. 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 Yeah.
Okay. So next what we'll do is, do you have any questions at this point of time before we move forward?
No, no questions. I
Okay.
just want to go through the document once
Okay, sure. Go through
completely.
it
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
So here are some questions that will check out. You can check out what sort of questions they ask and what sort of preparations are required.
Okay. So, okay. So, are these questions for both for the
Yes,
foundation and
what
practitioner?
happens is, foundation and practitioner, the concepts, the syllabus is the same, what we talked
Okay.
about. In
Okay.
foundation, they give direct questions like this: A, B, C, D, what it is, and which are from the Prince 2 syllabus that we talked about. In case of practitioner, they will give you a specific scenario. And you read that scenario, and pertaining to each aspect of the themes, processes, they will give you the questions from there, from that specific scenario. So have a go
Uh,
at these questions. So let's see. So you want to read and you can read out the option and then we'll look at the answers.
okay. So, all right. The purpose of the process is to establish
Question mark
foundation.
means that's the missing word which you will fill up from the ABCD option.
Okay. So options are initiating a project, starting a project, directing a project, managing a stage boundary. Okay. So is it start again. Initiating a project?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Next.
Which fact is true of project assurance but not which fact is true of project assurance but not quality assurance responsible for quality?
Always read the question very, very carefully.
Appointed as part of the project. Okay, got a little confused, but I think it's option D, responsible for it.
Okay. Lock.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh no.
No problem. See, read the question carefully. Which fact is true of project assurance, but not of
Not
quality
the.
assurance? So quality
This should be part of
assurance,
project. Yes.
yeah, it's not part appointed as part. It is independent of the project management team.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So that's why those questions always, these not questions are very, very tricky.
Yes.
Next.
Yes. Okay. It shares the purpose of managing product delivery process, which is a purpose of managing product also linked with project management, strategy, process extension, checkpoint approach provides a the work of project manager and the project board. One is focus on the delivery of benefits towards the stage. Okay, controls the link between the project and the project manager. But this also I think is D. Not sure. No.
So managing product delivery. So if you remember
Uh-huh.
the diagram,
Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
try
Yes.
to recollect, keep that diagram in mind. That will give you a
Uh-huh.
good, understanding of it. So it is the link between the project manager and the team manager. Team manager,
Mm-hmm.
team is the one that is delivering your products,
Mm.
work package. So that
Yes.
is where work is
Yes.
happening. So
Yes.
then eliminate the wrong ones, like C and D are not relevant. Managing product
Yes.
delivery is down the line. So C and
Yes.
D would
Yes.
get eliminated, leaves you with two. B1 is tracking the progress of a stage with the help of checkpoint reports. Or
I think I have to go through the document very
yes, just go
thoroughly.
through the document once and then
Yes.
it'll help you. So this gives you an idea of what sort of questions and how,
Yes.
what to read through.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Let's look at this now.
Within a stage. Got confused between project manager and team manager. I think project manager.
Final.
I just got confused. Manager or team manager. It's saying within a stage. Children is responsible for authorizing model within a stage. I think team manager. I think. Not sure. Team manager. Ah, I should have said it.
So
No,
they
I
are
have to go
saying,
through the,
no, no
yeah.
problem, no problem. Who is responsible for authorizing? Who
Yeah,
will
yeah,
authorize
yeah. The
and
project.
monitor the work to be completed? Project manager.
Yes, but I just yeah, I got confused with
Team
the
manager is
stage.
responsible for ensuring that the corrective action within the stage is done.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. So
Next.
that's the reason I got it. Okay. Which is not a characteristic of the project. So I think that this is as usual. I think option.
Which one?
I think option C.
Good. Next.
Which product forms the contract with the project manager at the project? Of the project. Which product forms the contract? Okay, project plan, project manager. Project code. I think project plan. Option A. Oh no.
The
Can you just
most
go back?
important document is project
Initiation.
initiation document. That is like the, if you remember, I was talking about the
Yeah.
project charter,
Yes.
like the contract, you can say, between the project manager and the board. So board will
Yeah.
authorize the
Yes.
project through the PID.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
next.
It says an objective of managing a stage boundary process. Okay. This is an objective of the stage boundary process. I completely got lost here, but I think this is um I don't know. It's option D. I just cannot recollect this one. Stage boundary process. Bad. How
Review
many
and
of these? Yeah.
so
Sorry.
what is an
Please go ahead.
objective, or one of the, what is an objective of the managing a stage boundary process?
Review and necessary update the project initiation.
So
Yeah.
you then go and look at the PID and check whether it is as per the PID, what was to be delivered, whether it has been delivered or not.
No, I think I have to go through the document
Yes,
very,
you
very
can go through it, but
thoroughly.
just get an idea about what sort of questions are asked. So don't worry about
Yes.
right or wrong.
Yeah. How should a team manager escalates a suggestion for an improvement work? Suggestion for improvement is an exception. Option D is an exception.
Raise an exception report. General issues. Remember what was general issue?
Yeah.
Any question, any doubt, anything is raised as a issue.
Issue. Yeah.
Your request for change, three types of issues.
Yeah.
Request for change, then a general issue. You remember that?
Honestly, I'm not able to recall it.
Okay. I'll just go back to that slide. That will give you.
Yeah.
These
Yeah,
are ways of recollecting what has been done. So it works good. It helps as a summary.
Okay. General issue request for change specifications.
This was the change.
Yes.
General issues, request for change of specifications. So what are general issues? Question, query, idea, suggestion, observation, concern. So that's like an escalation, right?
Yes. Yes. Okay. How many of these questions?
Not too many left.
Yes. Desirable, but so business. I I think it's option C. It's not sure.
Option C. Okay, good. Next.
Chaser. The project code, ensuring the project includes um what is it? Purpose of communication management and producing reports. Option C. Okay. I think option C. Option C.
Good. Next.
Identify the missing words in the following sentence. A project board will allocate tolerances to the project. Tolerances. I think it's option A. Let's go back. Okay. For each management stage. Okay. Tolerances to the stage. Okay. In what plan should project usually in what plan should project usually be planned? Stage plan. Stage plan for the final management stage. It's option A. Okay. Stage plan for the final management stage.
Remember, before we launch a stage plan, the plan for the next stage should be ready. So the project closure, if I say, is a stage, then it should be ready before I start that stage. What's the plan?
Yeah.
So that's why it is stage plan for the final management stage. So each stage, when you're closing, you will review whether the deliverables have been achieved and what is the plan for the next stage. With that, you will send it for approval. So if you want to enter the closure stage, you would need to send a plan for the closure stage.
Yeah.
So that's what it means.
Stage plan for the final.
Yes.
Process is option B.
Option.
Initiating a project. Just losing my confidence.
Which process is triggered by the project manager's request to initiate a project? So who will initiate the project? Project board.
Yeah.
And project board is directing the project.
Yeah.
That's why it's option.
Yes, yes.
Next.
Just not the purpose of a product description. Define the function and appearance, define the function and the appearance of the product, define the quality, skills required. Not the purpose of a product description. It's not the purpose of description. Option D. Okay. The purpose of what things to establish mechanisms to monitor and compare to achievements. Tools. So what things to establish mechanisms to monitor and compare activities. Monitor and compare. So, option D again.
Good.
Identify the missing words in the following sentence during the stage process. During the stage process, the dash is checked for new or revised and the possible impact. During the stage process, the is it option D? Option D.
Okay.
Okay. Which is an objective of closing a project process to the customer's quality expectation, check that all the project products have been accepted by the user, prepare for the final stage, ensure that all the benefits have been achieved. Closing a project process. Option C. Can you just go back to this? Okay, check that all the project products have been accepted. Okay. Okay.
See, preparing for the final stage of the project will come before that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Now that you say yes. Yes.
After explanation, it all seems very simple, but these
Yes.
are straightforward questions, but the wordings as such and the options that they give are so close to each other, there's a lot of confusion.
Um, Okay. Which one of the 6 aspects of project performance that needs to be managed? Six aspect. Reliability, scope, accuracy. Is it option B?
Good. So we completed the sample. These are like, as these are, your, just pause this. Okay. As these are the standard, courses, course
Okay.
questions for foundation, these are much more straightforward. If you want to have a go at the practitioner one, there is a
Yeah.
practitioner sample question also given. So you can scroll down and you can check this out, practitioner mock exam.
Mock exam.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Got
they
it.
have an explanation also at the back. So if I open that, you will see it.
Okay.
So it initially starts with a project scenario. Okay, so the practitioner,
Okay.
this is the, uh, so they give you a particular project scenario.
Okay.
Okay, so which you would first need to read, and then they come up with the questions for each of those. Okay, so then you will see, for once you read the entire thing, then they will give you the questions, and then based on the questions there will be the questionnaire booklet. Okay, so the booklet has actually the individual questions. So these questions are also your multiple choice, and
Okay.
like they tell you the syllabus area to which it is pertaining to question and how many marks. So this is matching, like one, you have to say A, B, C, D, E, F, or two A, B, C, D, which one of the options. Each selection from column 2 can be used only once. more than once or not at all. So it's not that you have to use all of them. So these kind of questions will be there. And as you review them, project scenario, and then you can read through the questions for each option. At the end, you will find, I'm just jumping, they have given you the explanations also. Which one is correct and what are the explanation. If it is incorrect, why it's incorrect, and what is the right option.
All right.
Okay. So
So in the examination, they will give the questions like this, right?
yes,
Uh,
they will give you
like matching
questions
the
for the
columns and.
practitioner. Exactly. For the practitioner, you will get questions like this.
Mhm.
So you will get a scenario booklet which will describe the
Okay.
entire scenario, pseudo project scenario, and based on that you will get questions, and they tell you which theme it is pertaining to, so that in your mind you can read that.
Okay. Okay.
These are the answer sheets. This is the sample practitioner, and
So when is this
I'll
examination
tell you,
has
just
been
give me a minute,
scheduled?
I'll give you.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
So this is the one. Then you have two foundation mock tests if you want to do them. This mock
Okay.
exam is also like question answers are there, but this one is more, not so flexible, as this is the entire documentation. So you might want to
Okay.
read this entire documentation at one go. If you want to look at the process model is here.
Okay.
This is that entire diagram I was telling you about.
Yeah. Process model.
Yes. Once you have this picture in your mind, that entire Prince 2 concepts will be much clearer. And the next one that we have is a case study is given. Okay, implementation case study. So this one is purely a story uh, that you can read through and see how they have implemented the project. So they give you what are the expense ranges, what is the problem statement, and then what is the solution. So CEO, so you have the CPM level. Then how did the Prince 2 implementation happen?
Okay.
For each of the processes, what is done before, what was done later, all that is explained here. Okay. And this is a glossary. So simple, the definition terms have been described here. Configuration item, configuration item record, configuration management. Okay. And and this was the mock exam I told you about. So if you plan to go through, you can go, this one is the entire concepts. So you can just go through. If you want to look at this video, the video link is, so the video is also here, and the Prince 2 concepts. Two mock exams are there, process model is there, case study is there, and the practitioner mock exam. Now coming to
Okay.
the exam, the exam is scheduled to be held on 10th of July.
Okay.
Okay, and
Okay.
it will be near the, you know, the NSHM campus.
Yes. 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 I know. Yeah.
Okay, so it is going to be at that NSHM campus. So over there, usually it is between 10 to 5, and
Okay.
you go in there, and there'll be like, they'll give you the, it will be a paper exam. Okay, so you will get a OMR sheet where you need to mark
Okay.
the answers.
Okay.
So
Okay.
just
Okay.
carry a, better to carry your own pencil and an eraser, and
Mhm.
carry a photo ID card of yours, and just mark the questions, answer the questions, mark them to the best of your knowledge. What we do is,